You ask about the Macho Man thing. I mean, could I have handled that differently?
Can you tell that story? But the things that I found fascinating about the story, you're in the room, everything's being discussed, and you're never mentioned once.
Right. Well, I wasn't even looked at.
Right. No one even looks at you.
Right.
Ted DiBiase is scheduled to get the world title.
Yeah.
Now, he must have been pretty upset at you.
I'm sure he was.
Did he confront you?
No, never.
Never once?
No. I mean, Ted was a seasoned veteran, and I'm sure that the skullduggery that went on, he was getting everything like Hogan. He had first-class tickets, he had a limousine, he had his hotel paid for.
Was that because of his gimmick, or was that because of they?
That was his gimmick, plus he had been promised the World Championship when he came there in the very beginning.
Sure.
Either with or without the $1 Million Man gimmick. The $1 Million Man gimmick came along in the $1 Million Belt after the deal with, I think, was he doing $1 Million Man before? Maybe so. He might have came in as a $1 Million Man.
Well, as you told it originally, they gave him the $1 Million title to
the $1 Million title
to circumvent him not getting the world title.
Yeah. Was he upset about it? Well, I'm sure. You've been promised the world title. Well, I think the bad news had been promised the world's title, too. Mm-hmm. Was he upset? Well, yeah, he chased Vince's ass all around the Philadelphia Spectrum and going to kick the shit out of him.
Right.
So, I mean, I was promised a run with Hogan. I never got that either.
Why did that never happen?
It just never materialized because I had the Intercontinental belt, and I was doing, myself and Macho Man, we were doing really good business, and the cards we had were doing fabulous in the other towns away from Hogan, so there was no reason to, let these guys go with it and let them go. That's why I didn't understand wanting me to lose it to Randy when we were doing so good.
Right.
I don't think it needed to be done. Randy would probably have never been the world's champion, ever.
Well, they created the title tournament for him as far
for that, and he would have never been world's champion. And I mean, would Randy have made a good world's champion? He did make a good. He might have went on to be world's champion, but they wanted him back with that Intercontinental belt again, and I just never gave them a chance to tell me what they were going to do with me.
Right.
There again, I let a fit of rage and just fuming emotions overtake me. And I walked out of that room so deflated, but yet so absolutely, what the fuck? We sold out every night in advance for the next month. And this is what you want to do? But they never told me what they were going to do with me. Now, can I blame them for not looking over at me and saying, now here's what we're going to do with you? It never happened. And I didn't, because once this conversation had gone so far that direction towards Randy and Liz and his future, I don't know if I would have even heard what they were going to tell me anyway. Because at that point, I was ready to just get up and walk out of the fucking room.
Now, did you regret not blowing up in the room?
No, because I didn't feel that kind of rage and anger to start yelling and cursing at Vince.
Okay.
Because I had respect for Randy and Liz being there and everything. And it wasn't that. If I'm going to vent myself about my career, it needs to be me and the guy paying me.
Right.
Not me in front of other people that don't really care. I think it was a shock to Randy to hear all these things they were going to do for him. because they had never set him down and told him all these things they were going to do for him.
Sure.
And he was getting a lot of the skullduggery himself from the road agents and things, and they didn't really like Randy and like his attitude, and they didn't like the fact that Randy and I were doing so good together either. So they were after both of us, and Randy and I both knew that. We had talked about it a couple of times in passing, not often because we didn't speak that often. I don't think he realized that they were going to give him back the Intercontinental, and probably in Randy's eyes, he probably thought it was demeaning to him to get it back.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. Was he?
I would like to have sometimes sat down with Randy and ask him all these things.
Sure.
I never got the chance to do it. How did you feel that day in that room when they never even looked at me and they were talking to you? And Randy had been a promoter and a booker, and his dad was a promoter, and they had their own territory for years. He understood how to deal with talent. He understood how you fire somebody or how you hire somebody and all those things. And I would like to have asked him what were you thinking that day they were saying all that stuff, Randy?
Did you ever have any conversations shortly thereafter this meeting?
Only the fact that I first called him off to the side. I said, Randy, this got nothing to do with you. It's strictly business. It's got nothing to do with you.
Did he understand?
He said, I understand completely. So I think he really understood that sitting there and them not even talking to me at all probably made him think, this might be me next time.
Yeah.
That they're going to do this too. But he understood. He was like, right away. I saw him that night at the building. I think we're in Hartford or New Haven or somewhere close to the office. And I said, Randy, can I see you a minute? And I said, this is really bad. He told me, he said, hey, brother, it's business. Do what you want to do.
So he supported you.
Yeah, he knew that it wasn't personal.
Did any?
And a lot of these asshole marks, you cocksuckers, Randy had no problems. It was not an issue between Randy and Honky Tonk Man. That was a non-issue. Make it what you want. It had nothing to do with it. Randy understood it was business. And if you guys don't understand the business, then I don't give a shit. That's why you're smart marks.
Indeed. Now, this how wrestling is and rumors start. Did any of the what went down in this meeting trickle down to the locker room?
No, because we did that show in New Haven, then we went to Vancouver, which was a really good house there. New Haven was packed, sold out. Vancouver was a big house. We went to Calgary. I was just not feeling really good about it, and I had from I think I called Jim Barnett from Vancouver like the second night. Right. I'd had enough. I called him the next day I called him from Calgary. The next day we got to Calgary, I called Jim Barnett's office.